Well, hello everyone. And here right here, I'm talking about the word that I talk about for welcome right here. And a lot of times it sure seems that way that when we do you say that word up like talk about for welcome right here, and a lot of times it sure seems that way that every time we do speak about the word welcome right here, and a lot of times you always want to know too that is to word yeah that how can really welcome how can welcome be used in for any sorts of ways, such as welcome up. If it's going to be maybe be about is toward if you're going to be visiting somebody and you would maybe see a welcome page or something like that, or you're welcome as like for any sorts of greeting or something like that. But you see right here, I'll talk about right here. This right here is supposed to be example right here of like some sort of activity game right here. So like everybody says toward it, whenever you look at these first two pages right here, and you'd see right here is on the right here that it would be like something like for like reading the details about your disability and all that, and of course this is how we met right here. But let's just say that maybe if it was on the left side right here, that you would include an activity game, and people might say that okay, yeah, it's a game, right? It's a game where you would put together right here of like a crossword puzzle or some sort like that. So it's like you'll want to know too that if you were to be putting together a document right here, and if you put like an activity game right here, and let's just say that you would include like a crossword puzzle right here, and the 102 that okay, yeah, that it could also be it could also be a word search, but everybody might say that you go ahead and from there, and then you would have these game pieces right here. You would have these game pieces, and so people might say is toward if you were to actually see these games right here, like these card games right here, and then let's just say that maybe if it was a word search puzzle or something like that, or if it was anything such as a crossword puzzle or any sort of puzzle, and you're thinking as toward okay, yeah, that most of these puzzles, you would it would just be one player, but let's just say that if you wanted to find if you did want to play with somebody else, and 102 that somebody might say that you go ahead and start out the sentence by saying this to where you are more than welcome to go ahead and play along if you want to go ahead and play this game, or so different ways of how you want to call how do you want to say welcome right here. But I'll go ahead and show everybody here that to talk about for welcome right here. So when we do speak about welcome a lot of times, it seems like that the way you think about that though, and people might say is to word that you would look at that maybe just a little bit is to word that if you're putting it into like a phrase of a question to where that okay, yeah, that if somebody were to say is to word that if you're going to maybe in these meetings in the meeting rooms a lot of times, and it's like so whenever you do say welcome though, it seems like to me that that's just a little bit like somebody is inviting you to say that you are welcome to provide feedback, and so like it sure seems that way that that feedback about something, or you are more than welcome to provide to go ahead and work on the like if it is feedback, or like somebody might even say too that if you are going to be working any sorts of puzzle or something like that, but it's like you're right that each time we do think about the welcome, though, that how do we really necessarily think that that you want to look at that is toward that good if it's a good positive feedback on something, or like everybody else might say that you go ahead and get into these conversations a lot of times, and or if it's like but most of the time people may say is to where you are more than welcome to go ahead and play along the game in this game right here. That there's a game right here where you can go ahead and play this game right here, where you go ahead and match the words right here, and people might say that that talk about for greet, or like for greeting right here, and if you were to go ahead and maybe put the word right there somewhere, like it place it in the game board right there, and people might say that you go ahead and work this game right here, and you go ahead and place the words right there in this game card, in this card game right here. So like let's just say that like everybody else might say that you go ahead and watch somebody put together a few words and place it on this card game right here, but then also your 102s toward okay yeah, you want to go, do you have anything to add right there? And so it's like yeah, so like let's just say that you have right here for great, but then also whenever it comes to understanding about team members, and if I were to go ahead and add it right there, team members. So if I were to add that, and like let's just say that if I were to include like maybe something like that, team members right here. So if I were to make that all one word right here and 102, yeah. So it's like so each time you think about welcome, that what exactly is it that's coming through your mind whenever you think about that, and you 102 that you go ahead and write in a few sentences, and maybe let's just say that like everybody says to where if you're going to include like any sorts of activity, any sorts of activity, your card game, to where that you go ahead and put that right there into like an activity right there, and so the way we think about that though in your 102 that if you were to actually be using this right here for an example for like any source of activity game or something like that, you're 102 that really who really would want to play along with you about anything that you're going to be working with. And people might say that what exactly is it, what are the rules about this game, and what exactly is it that you're doing. And so like let's just say that if you're going to be talking for about 10 or 15 minutes talking about something, and let's just say that you go ahead and put together a game right here. You go ahead and place these words right here and put it into like a game, like a little activity game right here, and somebody's going to maybe say is toward you're more than welcome to play along if you want to go ahead and play along. And somebody might say that, well, is it really the words or if it's the game pieces? You got right here is the game pieces, and somebody's going to say go ahead and move those game pieces around, so that way you can go ahead and show your players just a little bit about how to play that game right there. You go ahead and show somebody how to move those game pieces, and which game pieces that you want to use. So it sure seems that way that whenever you're going to be working on something and showing somebody how to play a game, and like everybody will say is to where you got 1, 2, 3 right here, and you got these game pieces, and so it's like you show everybody these examples of these game pieces right here, and let's just say that you would move this game piece right over here to the left corner right here, and you would play along. You would play this game right here. That there would be like a few questions, or maybe the first round, or maybe the second round, that you would play that game right there, and people want to know too that the game pieces, and so how many of us are going to say that that you would like to move the game pieces around just a little bit, so that way you can get an idea of how to play the game. But it's like so you would go ahead and move the game pieces around just like that, just to be able to mark your spot to where I actually this right here, player 1, player 2, and player 3 right here. So it's like so you start playing this game right here, and let's just say if you were to be matching up a few words, and maybe if you were to be asking a few questions, and maybe telling everybody that you go ahead and play like a little activity game right here, and a 102 that there would be like prizes and stuff like that, but half the time it sure seems that way that every time you do think about that, and your 102 is toward that anything that you're going to be talking about, for like if it's supposed to be like an activity or anything else that you're going to be working with, and a 102 is toward that to be able to get to know somebody very well, and you invite them to participate in a game, and so it's like so anything that you're going to be talking about for sure, that anything that you were talking about, maybe during the meeting or something like that, and people may say is toward that you start talking about something from this meeting, and anything that you were talking about right there, and people might even say is toward that you ask the questions right there, but really that what exactly does this mean right here? Whenever you say welcome right here, you are more than welcome to go ahead and provide feedback right here, or you are more than welcome to go ahead and give it a try. A lot of times that's usually what I hear. You got the game pieces right here, so like everybody say is to where that you go ahead and try to move those game pieces and move it onto this board right here, and like people I say is to where all you would just like a crossword puzzle, and look at that like a word search or a crossword puzzle. That people go ahead and somebody go ahead and show you this to where that you would move you would go ahead and you would see the progress that was made right here, but it's like great to team members right here, but everybody might say is to where that what are the chances? I'm like everybody say is to where you go ahead and spend a little bit more time with that art with the game board right there, the game pieces, and it's like how many of us will maybe say that you're going to go ahead and spend the time to go ahead and move those game pieces around, and that you might say is to where you're going to go ahead and I would like to go ahead move the game pieces around, so that way you can go ahead and move the pieces around, and you would be able to play along with that game right there. And so how many of us will maybe want to know too that whenever you do start a game though, that you would move a few of those game pieces around, and want to know too that you would place them on this game board right here, and that there would be like a question, or there would be like maybe a word that you would be able to place on that board right there. And 102 is toward So if somebody starts talking to you about something, and it's like that everybody says toward you are more than welcome to go ahead and give it a try. And so really that whenever we do talk about welcome right here, what exactly is it that you're really telling anybody? And people might say is toward it really that's another way of how you want to call it. It's like you to talk about for the free your mind into thinking that you can learn you can learn a lot more. You can learn a lot more if you keep trying. So I guess that's another way of how you want to call it. So it's like to word it free your mind. And people might say free your mind. Free your mind in thinking, to thinking. And I could put like maybe a comma right there or something like that. But like everybody says, to word that you can maybe think about that is to word it to free your mind into thinking. To where that if somebody were to show you something and they tell you that I can't figure this out. I can't figure out how to solve this right here. And people might say is to where that every time you do think about that, then you're warned to where that every time you do think about that, then you're warned to where that that whenever it comes to understanding about something, and you're warned toward it, that when we do speak about welcome a lot of times, it's like, you're 102, welcome. That pretty much means is to where that free your mind to thinking, that to give something a try, to be able to learn more is by, is to keep trying. And so every time you do think about that, then you're warned to where that what exactly, that whenever you do think about welcome right here, you see welcome maybe like on the home page of a website. You might, you for sure you would see it. Maybe if you're visiting somebody, like you have right here is a welcome. Welcome to welcome to my house, or welcome to the business, or welcome. It's like, it's basically, it's another way of how you want to call it, is to where it's like a greeting. It's a greeting to where that welcome, welcome, as, if you are a guest visiting somebody there in their home or at their business or something like that. But it sure seems that way that each time you think about that, you're warned to where that, okay, yeah, welcome. And, so whenever you think about welcome, though, that, do you necessarily think about that is to where that somebody's telling you that, you are welcome to give this a try if you want to go ahead and try to move the pieces around. Like, people might say that, you may think about that is to where, okay, yeah, welcome. You are welcome to, move the pieces around right here. You move them and place them on this, on the game board right here. So if you have the example right here of a game board right here, and so you're thinking this toward, okay, yeah, you're welcome. You are welcome to give this a try. And so whenever you do think about that, to talk about for welcome right here, and you're warned toward it, okay, yeah, welcome, is that you each time you think about welcome, that you're thinking is toward it, that usually welcome pretty much means is to where that you are, I'm like, welcome to you're welcome to my house, or that welcome to welcome to the fair or something like that, or welcome to this museum or something like that. But you think about that, it's like a typical greeting, right? But let's just say that if you were to actually put that into point of perspective to where that you would include something like that on on an actual activity document, like everybody says, to where if you're talking about maybe a 2-page document right here, to where that you would actually be looking at 2 pages or maybe 4 pages right here. There's an article right here, but then maybe on the left side right here that you would include an activity right here, to where there will be a game board right here, but then also that you would include something like somewhere to where, welcome. You are welcome to give this a try if you want to go ahead and give this a try. And, so you would include an activity, your portion right here on the left side of the page right here, so that way, anybody who wanted to do, play a game or something like that, or anybody who did want to move these pieces, and so it's like so every time you think about that, it's like it's like an invitation, and to me though, it's like so if anybody who's going to be reading what you're working with right here, and for sure that you would include like maybe an invitation to play along you on one of the activity games or something like that. But it's like, so every time you think about that, and you're warned to where that really, who's really going to play along, and like everybody might say, is to where you include a game on, anything that you're going to be working with, anything that you're going to be talking about. And people might say is to where, okay, you would include a game or some sorts of activity, but at the same time, it's like, that, a lot of people or maybe are not even going to want to, they may not even want to play the game. They're more likely, they're going to probably say that I'll go and just watch you work and see what you're doing there. And but still, it's like, but every time we think about welcome right here, and you're warned toward you free your mind and to think of the point of perspective is toward to give, to learn a lot more is, to keep trying. And so every time you think about that, and you're warned too that you are more than welcome to give this a try if you want to give it a try. And like I go ahead and show you how to do something, but then I was telling you that I could not figure out how to be able to put this together earlier, or that I was not able to find those words from earlier, or something like that, or that I was not able to I was having problems earlier trying to solve this or something like that. So it sure seems that way, that every time you do think about the welcome right here, and people might say is toward that you go ahead and include right here, I talk about for players right here. So you include players right here, and people might say is toward, okay, yeah, players right there. You have players right here, and people might say is to where that, yeah, that could welcome also be used as another way of saying this to where if you want to go ahead and invite somebody to play a game with you or something like that, then a lot of times that's usually what you hear is that, yeah, that, somebody goes ahead and shows you how to play a game or something like that, or yeah, anything that you're talking about right here, and somebody might say is toward, yeah, that you were filling out an application earlier, or you were talking about something from earlier, but then it's like you're thinking it's toward, okay, yeah, you are more welcome. You are more than welcome to provide feedback for anything that we were talking about from earlier. So it's like, yeah, so really that whenever you do think about that, and you're thinking this toward it, that yeah, welcome can be phrased in, like, yeah, you can be phrased in a variety of ways, right? But whenever you do think about that, it sure seems that way. That okay, yeah, welcome pretty much means that you are entering. I'm like, yeah, it's basically it's another way of how you want to call it, is toward it. That's the entrance. That right there is the entrance, and people might say, yeah, the entrance, and I'm like, yeah, entrance, and with an A, but still, that's the entrance right there. People might say, yeah, that's the front door right there. That's the entrance right there. So it's like, so every time you do think about that, and you might say is toward whenever you first start working on something, for sure that's usually what welcome means right there. Is that's the front door, that's the entrance right there. But then whenever you do think about that, you're okay, yeah, anything that we're talking about down here, you're trying to put these words together right here and trying to put them into a clear point of perspective, to a sentence. Yeah, you're trying to line them all up into like a crossword puzzle or something like that, or you're trying to line them all up to where they would match, or you're trying to put them together for a game piece or something like that. To win prizes or something like that. So each time you think about that, and you're thinking as toward, okay, yeah, you are more than welcome to provide feedback, or you are more than welcome to provide. You're more. Like, yeah. So it's like, so if somebody was actually showing you something for sure, that yeah, after you were working on something for sure, after you were working on something that yeah, you are more than welcome to provide more feedback, and so it's like, yeah. So every time you do think about that, and you're warned toward it. That every time you do think about welcome, that what exactly is it that's telling everybody else? That yeah, you go and show somebody something. You go and show somebody how to play something. You go and show somebody how to put something together. But you still can't figure out how some of these game pieces are, how to play this game right here. So like everybody else might say that while you're working on something, that you go and show somebody something. Yeah, you go and show them something about how to play a game, or how this works, or yeah. So it's like so every time you do think about that, and you always want to know too, is to where that, especially if it's going to maybe be on a Facebook account or something like that, any sorts of activity that you're going to be working with, and you're warned to where that ways of how to welcome your audience to be able to like what you're working with, or if anything, you want to ask somebody's opinion about something, or you ask for their feedback about something. So it's like, yeah, you are more than welcome to provide. You're more than welcome to give it a try. And so a lot of times it's like, yeah, most of the time, anything that you're going to be working on for sure, that this person is actually asking you, yeah, if they still can't figure out how to play the game, for sure, they're going to ask you to please, can you please join me, and so you can show me how to play this game. Yeah, it's the game pieces. could you please? I'm like, yeah. It was a one-player game, but then you ask, yeah, there's 4 players. There was one time whenever you were doing this game right here, and yeah, that there was only 1 player, but then you ask 2 other players to join just because of the fact that you can figure out how to play, or that yeah, you want to get some feedback on something like that. But it's like, yeah. So every time you think about welcome right here, that do we want to think about that is toward it that what you're telling your audience though is that you free your mind is to give something a try. You're showing somebody how to move the pieces in of course that how to yeah that whenever you're going to be working on something, especially yeah, this is how we met right here. This is how we met. That you would like, yeah, you're trying to move these pieces around right here, but you're trying to get them to, I'm like, yeah, you're trying to get them to fit right here. So like people might say is toward yeah, okay, you go ahead and put greetings right here, but then you want to go ahead and figure out how to be able to place that text right there, going sideways right here, going sideways, but this right here, it's supposed to be a crossword puzzle. You're trying to get them to meet. You're trying to get them to meet right there. And so, like, people might say that this right here was supposed to be any sort of game, any sort of a game piece right here. And you're 102 that yeah, if you're trying to get all those words and all that, all of them connect right, and so that's why it seems like you go and show somebody something, and you're saying toward it, yeah, I still can't figure out, how all these connect right here. I'm trying to get these words to connect right here, on his game board right here, and so that's why, yeah, great. And then you're trying to get all these to connect right here and try to solve the problem, and so that's why it seems like that whenever you think about that, and U102 is toward you include a word such as welcome. You would include welcome right here, and then you would include like a little activity game right here. So every time you do look at that, and people might say is toward it, yeah, that somebody's going to say is toward it, okay, yeah, there's the front door, but you start talking about something. But then somebody's going to maybe say toward it, you are more than welcome to go ahead and provide feedback about what you think about this, and just to go ahead and give something a try. Yeah, just to go and give this a try right here. Go ahead and move the game pieces and show me how to do this. And so people might say toward, yeah, go ahead and move the game piece right there, so that way you can play the game, and so that way you can go ahead and move these words around and everything, and so it's like, yeah, so you go ahead and, so everybody might say is toward it, so people might say is that yeah, you go ahead and move these game pieces around, and people might say is toward, okay, yeah, that, so every time you do think about that, and you're warned toward, okay, yeah, the game pieces, that, I'm still trying to figure out, how to play the game right here, but it's like, yeah, so every time you think about that, and you're warned to where that, yeah, you watch somebody play the game, and you actually watch somebody work, but somebody might say is to where you are more than welcome to go ahead and join and play this game right here, or to show, yeah, any feedback that you have to give to for somebody, and so it's like, yeah, so every time you think about welcome right here, and you're thinking this toward, okay, yeah, welcome. Welcome is also another way of saying this toward it, yeah, that, welcome to my house, or something like that, or yeah, you are welcome to play along if you want to play along, or something like that, you're welcome to join, or like everybody says toward it, yeah, welcome to the team, or something like that, or welcome to the company, or something like that. So it's another way of how you want to greet somebody, but at the same time, it sure seems that way, that every time you do think about that, and you're warned toward it. You get into these conversations a lot of times, and people may say is toward it, yeah, you met at the fair, and you met at that carnival. You talk about for stay together, but then also your questions of the matter, and so it sure seems that way. That yeah, that you had these conversations with your older brother or your older sister, but it's like you start talking about something, and like everybody else might say that you want to go ahead and just listen and watch to see what they got to talk about and all that. But it's like, yeah, anything that you're going to be working with for sure. But really, that when we do speak about welcome a lot of times, that people might say is toward, yeah, you go ahead and go on this conversation for about 15, 20 minutes, and somebody's going to say is toward, yeah, you're more than welcome to go and give it a try. Yeah, you're more than welcome to provide feedback if you want to go and provide feedback. And so every time you do think about that, and you're always thinking is toward that, well, really, that I really don't know how to do that, or I can't figure this out, or I can't figure that out, and so every time you think about that, and you're always 102, that don't you think that maybe it would be best advised to where that you would include an activity, portion right there on the book right there, to where anybody anybody might say that the way that how you interact with the team, and they're going to say that I included this game portion right here, to where that this right here is supposed to be it's a game, and I included this game right here. It's an activity. Yeah, it's an activity right here. It's an activity game right here. I include it in there, so that way, yeah, people might say that I included that. I included this activity game piece right here in that project right there, because so that way I can it's another way of how you're able to test somebody's knowledge, and a lot of times that's usually like any other publisher would say too, that's usually how they test your knowledge. Yeah, we would like to test your knowledge, just by doing something like that, to where that we would like to test your knowledge, and this is what we do here. This is what we do here, is that just to be able to test your knowledge, that this is what we do. We test your knowledge just by including this game board right here. So yeah, so every time you do think about that, and you're 102, that you look at that whenever you're going to be working on something and looking at something, that somebody would include a little activity right here, to where it's like a puzzle, and include that word a puzzle, and anybody who likes solving puzzles, or anybody who wants to use work a puzzle, and you're thinking this to her, okay, yeah, that really, for if it's really meant to be to where that you want to go ahead and use put words and all that together as for a puzzle, but like everybody else might say that you go ahead and use it, and like everybody else might say that anything that you were talking about here from earlier, why do you think that you would why do you think that you want to put that into a puzzle or something like that? But something like that, but some sort. But you're thinking that that number one, that if you were to actually put that into a puzzle, then for sure that people might say is to that that's one way of how you're able to show somebody something, and maybe that's way of how you can get your other players to interact with what's going on and what they were talking about during the time. And so that's why it seems like that anything that you were talking about from earlier, right, that you would include like a little activity game right here, to where you would put together these words and solve problems right here. And people might say is to where anything that you were talking about from earlier, that you would say on there that you are more than welcome to go ahead and provide feedback, or you are more than welcome to go ahead and answer a few of those questions that were asked from earlier. You are more than welcome to add anything, or you are more than welcome to move the pieces. And I'm sure a lot of everybody else would say that I think I'm gonna go ahead and just move the pieces. But people must say is to where So it's like every time you think about that, you have it to where if anybody who's gonna be listening or watching, they're gonna probably maybe say is to where are you going to go ahead and ask the questions, or would you like to move a couple of the pieces? You would like to move the pieces. Go ahead and start playing the game. Move the pieces and move them on to this game board, so that way you can go ahead and try to solve a few of the puzzles right there. And so it's like so that's something to think about, right? But every time you do think about welcome right here, and you're thinking as to where that what does welcome pretty much mean? Well, welcome means is that you are pretty much as to where that you're showing somebody something, you're presenting something to somebody, but then also that they say that they go ahead and show you a little bit of how to play this game, how this works and how the tools work and everything. They show you something. But then, that you are more than welcome to go ahead and give this a try. You go ahead and give this a try to where you go and play the game, or that you go ahead and try to solve a problem, or you're welcome to go ahead and try to do some of that work right there. And so every time you think about that, and you're thinking, free your mind to thinking that you can go ahead and learn a little bit more if you keep trying. So it's like, so every time you think about that, and you're warned to where that, if you want to kind of look at that as another way, if I give that to the challenge, but still, it's like every time you think about that, and you're warned to know too that welcome could also mean is to where, you're welcome. It's another way of how you want to greet somebody, or like everybody else would say that, every time you think about that, and you're warned to where that, welcome. Welcome pretty much means that you are more than welcome to give it a try. So that way, if you think that just to improve something, or that, you're more than welcome to give it a try. If this other, if the player can't figure out, how to play the game or something like that. And so you want to a lot of times. That usually happens with me a lot of times. Is that you want to try to impress somebody during the gameplay. You want to surprise somebody, impress somebody with how to play the game, with how to do something, and that's why it seems like that. You go ahead and work a little bit. You move a few of the game pieces around, and that's whenever you're going to say is toward it. For sure, you go ahead and you go and watch somebody play that game, but for sure, if they cannot seem to figure it out, or like everybody say that they were done playing during the time, but then so it's like so what are the chances that maybe that somebody is want to go ahead and play along with this game right here, and people might say is toward a lot of times it's like that. Most of the time, it's over the fact about is to where that that there's something there's something about that game, about this activity that you see, you want to try to impress somebody by showing them something. Show them. Please show me what you're talking about, and a lot of times that usually works that way. That please show me how to do that, and show me how. Show me how. Please show me how. And so it sure seems that way. That every time you think about that, and you're warned to where that you start talking to somebody about something in that conversation, and for the most part, you don't have that artboard ready to where you can actually show somebody. So it sure seems that way to almost all the time. That if you want to show somebody how to do something for sure, you go ahead and invite them to play a game, and yeah, please show me how. Show me how you did that, and so that's why it seems like everybody says to where that that's whenever that this welcome comes around to where that yeah, you are more than welcome to go ahead and present. Go ahead and show them something. You're more than welcome to show them. And so every time you think about that and you're wondering to where that you see welcome right there in the U102, is to where it can welcome be worded in a variety of ways. And people might say is to where it's another way of how you want to call it, is to where that it's a way of how you want to show is to where yeah, it's an entrance, it's an entrance, it's a way of how you enter, you walk into you come into somebody's home and they're like yeah, but still it's like but on the other hand too that somebody might say is to where that yeah, you go ahead and show somebody something, but at the same time that they don't have any idea of how to play along. They had no clue on how to play the game, and so they're gonna say is to where that you are more welcome to give it a try because I can't seem to figure this out. I can't figure out how to play the game. I can't figure this out. And so that's why it seems like that they're going to say that they're going to go ahead and say that pass the control off to the next off to the next player, so that way they can go ahead and show them how to play the game. And so every time you think about that, and you're wondering to where that you first started out the game. By the way, it was maybe just one player, like everybody say that. You start out the game with just one player. It was just one player right here, but then you invited another player to join just because you couldn't figure out. You could not figure out how to do this, and so that's why it was like yeah, please show me how. And like yeah, you start talking about something to somebody, and for sure, like yeah, I cannot figure out how to do this. I can't figure this out. Can you please show me? I'm like, so it's like, yeah. So every time you think about all this, like, yeah, all this other stuff that I was talking about from earlier, but if you would actually put this into an activity game right here, and somebody might say is that, you go and show somebody something, but it's like, yeah, you are more than welcome to go ahead and give it a try. And to see what you come up with. I'm like, oh yeah, give this a try. Go ahead and move this piece. Go ahead and move the piece right there, and place a word right there in the game board. And so people might say, yeah, great, or something like that, or like yeah, team member, or something like that. And anybody say that, yeah, do you have a word that you want to go ahead and use? I'm like, well, I'll go ahead and use right here, I'll go ahead and use something like, yeah, that your greeting, like typical greeting. If we're talking about maybe for a team play or something like that, but I can go ahead and put on here, something such as to where that, greetings, yeah, greetings, meet or something. I'm like, yeah, greetings. You've already said greetings, great greetings earlier, but but how about, yeah, partner or something like that? I'm like, yeah, partner. And, your partnership or something like that. Yeah, your partnership or something like that. And, yeah, I'm typing it in. I'm like, yeah. I'm trying to key it in there, but I'm trying to use this, as an example right here of a word right here that I could use in the puzzle, but you just make that bigger right there, but then turn it sideways right here. And people might say is to where that yeah, that to be able to play this game, that you're supposed to match the words up, and yeah. So if I were to do something like that, and also duplicate that right there, and put that right there on the bottom, and then maybe put that maybe turn that around to make it reflect or something like that. I don't see no reason to do that really, but like everybody say, if that is supposed to be like a game right there, to where that you show somebody how to do something, but then you're warned to where that really that why would you spend time? Why would you do that? Why would you spend time aligning text like that into like a puzzle like that, to where that yeah. So why would you want to spend so much time turning the words vertical and turn them sideways and everything into, like, if it's supposed to be like any sort of a crossword puzzle or something like that, and you're warned to where that you really, why would anybody think of that idea as to where it's something creative or anything like that? But like people might say that really that partnership, and you would use partnership, but you would show right here of these words, they connect somehow, and so it's like, yeah, so every time you think about that, and you're 102, that you go ahead and show somebody something right there, but really, what is that really supposed to solve? Whenever you look at that really closely right there, what is that supposed to mean right there? If you have partnership right here, written sideways right here, and you have partnership written right here. So really, what is that really supposed to tell anybody? Whenever you do look at a game piece like that, like at this right here is supposed to be, any sort of game piece, and you're warned to where that, like an activity game, and so every time you do think about that, and you're 102, that just experiment around with it and all that, but still that but every time you think about that, and you're warned to where that welcome. Is another way of how you want to call it, is to where that you're showing somebody how to play a game, you're showing somebody how to do something, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, that you're also telling somebody that I cannot seem to figure out how to connect these right here, how to connect the dots right here. I can't seem to figure out how these connect right here. I can't seem to figure that out right there. So it's like so every time you do think about that, and you're 102, that yeah, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to go ahead and give it a try. And so it's like, so every time you do think about that, you think about all these. You're like, yeah, talk about for the stay together, and then yeah, talk about, but still that your questions that you were asking from earlier. But it's like, yeah, so every time you think about that, then you're 102, that yeah, you are more than welcome to go ahead and ask the questions and all that, but every time I think about that, and I'm always thinking as to where that you would maybe see something like that, to where that yeah, somebody would include a game piece right here, to where that you would go ahead and play along with the game right here, and you would match up with like a crossword puzzle, or maybe activity section or something like that, and that's why it seems like that every time you think about that really that do you think on average that anybody might say that yeah, I would like to move the game pieces. I would like to move those game pieces around. I want to go ahead and move the game pieces around. And so that way I can get out. I'm like, yeah, you would want to move the game pieces around, and then you would go ahead and start playing the game. And so it's like, yeah, so every time you do think about that, and you want to know too, that yeah, whenever you hear welcome a lot of times, that somebody might say is toward a yeah, that you're well, it's another way of how you want to call it, an invitation, right? And also that if somebody is asking for somebody for assistance with something, and it's like, yeah, you go ahead and think about that, and yeah, free your mind into thinking as to where to learn a lot more if you give it a try. And But at the same time, it's like, talk about for safety first right here. And I can put that right here too, for safety first. And, safety first. And, but it's like, so every time you think about that in 102, that, whenever you think about welcome right here, and you're thinking that, okay, that welcome. Welcome pretty much means is toward that safety first, but welcome pretty much means is that welcome to my house, or welcome to the party or something like that. But could welcome also be used as another way of how you want to call it, for entrance, is toward that you are pretty much entering that through that front door right there, or welcome to the party, or welcome to this welcome to the museum or something like that. And so every time you think about that, you're thinking that that you go ahead and start talking about something for sure. And somebody's going to say that you're more than welcome to go ahead and provide feedback about that, or you're more than welcome to go ahead and ask the questions. And you're more than welcome to go ahead and give that a try, to where you can go and play the game. And so every time I think about that, and you're thinking this, to where that you go ahead and start the conversation with anybody, and you're thinking that the things that you talked about from earlier, and I want to know that I'm like, about your disability and everything, and want to know that you're special citizens right here. You're thinking, I'm like, for your records and all, but still, that anything that you talked about from earlier, and somebody say that, well, you're more than welcome to go ahead and ask the questions, if you want to go ahead and ask the question, or if you want to go ahead and provide feedback. And so really that so at the time it sure seems that way, that whenever you do think about a welcome page or something like that, do you necessarily think about that is toward that somebody is a greeting. I'm like, it's another way of how you want to call it, greetings. It's another way of how you want to call it, is to where it's a type of greeting to where that hello, it's like, well, hello, welcome to this museum or something like that. And so it's another way of how somebody says hello. And so it's like, hello. So it's another way of how somebody says hello right there. And but it's like, really, how many of us are really going to look at that, is to where that while you're working on something, for sure, while you're working on something that it's about trading messages, right? And people might say that, I saw your work earlier. I saw your work earlier, and it's is it very? Do you like what you saw right there, or that anything like that? So every time you think about that, and you're 102, really, you don't really know what people are thinking, but they might even tell you that we saw that the work that you were doing earlier, and I find it to be you find it to be very interesting, and top up for the gift and all that, but still that people might say is to where that you go ahead and show somebody a game that you were working on here, and you're like, you go ahead and do, you go ahead and work a game right here. You go ahead and form a game or some source of activity right there, on the book right there. People may say is toward it, do you think that maybe 3 other players would want to play along if you want to go ahead and do like a game or some source of activity? And people might say is toward that you go ahead and say, hello. How you doing? Well, would you like to play along? Or I'm like, would you like to play this game? Or would you like to talk about? Or would you be willing to answer a few questions or something like that? And so every time you think about that, and you're thinking that if somebody's watching you work, they're watching you working on something, and they're going to say that, that they're going to be asking for, somebody's opinion about something, for sure. And you say is to where, yeah, you're more than welcome to go ahead and provide feedback right here. And so, like everybody says, to where that while you're working on something, for sure, that while you're working on something that you don't really know. I'm like, yeah, while you're working on something, somebody's watching. And another thing that I want to talk, I'm like, yeah, like people might say is to where that you want to include right here on the bottom. You're waiting. What does that mean whenever you're waiting on something? People might say that, yeah, really. What are you really learning whenever you're waiting? People might say that, yeah, you learn all kinds of things whenever you're waiting. Whenever you're waiting, you learn all kinds of things whenever you're waiting. But while you're waiting, you could be working, right? You're working on something. But like everybody say, that while you're working on something, that it's another way of how you want to cause is to where that while you're waiting on something that you're going to be working this puzzle right here. You're going to be working the puzzle, and that's whenever somebody's going to say that you go ahead and work that puzzle right there, and just something for entertainment, right? And something to do, but still, it's like whenever you do think about welcome right there, and you're thinking that welcome could also mean somebody's saying hello. They greet you by saying hello, welcome to my house, or welcome, you're welcome to my home, or something like that, or something like welcome to the company, or welcome to the museum, or something like that. And so that's why it seems like you are welcome to answer these questions if you would like, and you're welcome to play along. So it's like every time you think about that, and you're 102 is that that somebody is for sure that the way we all use that is to word it, you want to go ahead and surprise somebody with something, or you want to go to impress somebody with something that you can do, right? And people might say is to word it, well, you're more than welcome to go ahead and give this a try. And so that's why it seems like everybody say that is to where that would you need to buy anything that you would need to buy, or anything that you would need to download and install, or something like that. But it's like everybody might say is to where that well, for sure that whenever you do talk about welcome, though, it's another way of how you want to call it greeting somebody. And they say that first of all, it's like you go ahead and greet them by saying hello, and you go ahead and maybe any source follow them on Facebook or something like that, and if it's a Facebook page or something like that. So every time you think about that, and you're always 102, that that whenever you hear the word welcome, if you've heard that word welcome, several times, what exactly does it mean whenever you do say welcome? Whenever you welcome somebody, and a lot of times that's basically another way of stating is to where that somebody's saying hello, and I would like to show you something, and show you how you to do this, and for hello, welcome means, and but anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. And talk about right here of understanding about welcome, and then talk about the game pieces right here. But talk about for welcome right here, for waiting right here, and but anyway, but I have right here of talking about but still, the first thing that somebody's gonna maybe say is that do you think that you're qualified, and maybe if you had that ability to where you could play this game, or if you can train somebody on how to do something. And it's like, well, really, that if you're able to get something to work, for sure, you try to impress somebody. But like everybody else might say that really, you just may never know what you can really impress somebody by. And so that's why it seems like in order to be able to impress somebody, yeah, go ahead and impress somebody just by saying this to where, hey, hello, like, yeah. So it's like, yeah, so this right here, yeah, this right here is this infographic right here and all that talk about for special, citizenship right here. But then, like everybody says, to where that if you would include, like on the, yeah, see on the left side of the page right here, that there'll be this game board right here. But to where you would play along, you would be able to play along, and so it's like, yeah, so it's like every time you think about welcome right here, that somebody's they're trying to invite you to play along or to show you something, and yeah, to show me how. But anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.